Hello. Hi, guys. Hello, if you're watching now. Judith Glory, your mentor, your coach. Happy and glad to be able to connect with you again for week 3 of our series Activate, Release, or Amplify the Leader in You. And I want to start by expressing my gratitude if you're here today. And it shows your discipline, it shows your determination, it shows that you're serious about activating, revealing, and amplifying your leadership lead. Good job, well done. Showing up is another way to say, yes, I want this. And I am more than grateful for you, and I'm more than excited to be able to share with you what we'll be talking about this week. Key priority is managing priorities is one of the key leadership. Last week we stopped to actually talk about what is leadership. So, if you watched last week, you learned that leadership is influence. You cannot talk about leadership without talking about influence. We talked about ways to really raise your influence. We talk about the 5 levels of leadership. The level 1, which is the position you are leading because of your position. Level 2, where you're leading because you have the permission of people. They gave you the permission to be their leader. Level 3 is production level, where having the permission to lead people together, you create an effective and motivated team that delivers a lot for the organization, for the team, for the community, for the organization, for your church. And then level 4, we say it's even beyond the organization, where you develop other leaders around you. And then the last level, the highest, which is the pinnacle, where people follow you because of who you are, not what you do for them. So if you didn't watch, please go and watch. There's a lot of good things there. And more important, I feel like asking you, did you do the reflection? And what are some things that you identify you could try to move from one leadership level to the next? Have you tried something? And I feel like going to check in the chat if someone says something to me. Out there to go. But even if you watch this after and you want to say something, please type whatever you want to say in the chat. There's great chance that maybe I don't know how to use it. It's fine, I will learn. But I just checked the chat. I see 2 people watching, but I'm seeing no comments. So for the menu in the agenda today, we will stop and talk about prioritizing. In order for you to invest, to know people, to connect, to learn what they care about, so as to show as someone they can lean on, it takes time. In order for you to work with your team to deliver things like a leader of the level 3 doors, it takes time. In order for you to really invest time outside the organization to develop leaders, it takes time. Which is why one of the key things we'll be discussing is prioritization. Guys, leader or not leader, we have 24 hours. What can you do? What strategies can you apply to ensure that what matters get done? This is the agenda for today. So we are going to before the end, you will learn 3 strategies to help grow, improve your prioritization, to ensure that as a leader you work on the key things that matter to your leadership. With the 3 strategy, I'll also share, I love goodies. So when I know, see, or have something good, I like to share. So at some point during the live, I'll share the link to a worksheet that you can download right after the live to start using to prioritize your activities, your tasks. So this is the menu for today, and just like with other live sessions, there will be one time devoted to learning, key learning. What's the key message? Strategies for prioritization, essentially. After the learning, how do you make that learning yours? How does that apply to you? Maybe of the 3 things that will be shared, you are already doing them. How can you amplify? That's why I love so much the reflection, is where you tie the learning to your reality. And after that reflection, are there some things you want to try? Are there new ways for you to prioritize better? Are there some concrete action that can allow you in the next couple days to see a difference in your prioritization? These are the things I suggest we do in our hour together. And once more, if it's your first time here, this is a series. We want this year to bring out the leader in you. If you're already a leader, we want to amplify your leadership. So this is week 3 of a series of 12. And by now, you know quite something about leadership. So let's dive right in. And I feel like asking you to start rolling. What comes up for you when I say priorities? If I say priority, what comes up in your mind? Judith, you're going so fast. Yeah, it's because in the live of the morning in French, I took a lot of time, and after an hour, I still had some material to cover. And before I forget, I want to do a shout out to Blessing. A certain number, Blessing, you were in the live in French and you left a wonderful comment. I really want to stop and say thank you for your comment, because as I was doing live, Blessing Divine, yes, it's Blessing Divine. If you're watching again, thank you very much. I'm so appreciative. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. When I do live, well, I'm not watching directly what people are receiving. So you made a wonderful comment about the volume. Again, now I'm not listening, but at least I checked the mic before starting the live. So hopefully the volume is better now. If it's not, please just type in another comment for me to correct. At the end of the day, it's more about providing you value. So if you're hearing, if there's still an issue with the volume, please let me know. Let me know. Thank you once more, Blessing Divine. And I really wanted to acknowledge and appreciate what you did. Merci beaucoup. And a special thank you again, because I could see your comment was in English. So maybe French was not your first thing, but you've watched, you made the comment, and you stick to the end. Thank you for the feedback. Very much appreciated. And if there's one thing specific, like particularly for you, I feel like asking, is there one thing I can do to help grow your leadership? Would you want, as a thank you of Judith, like one coaching session? If it's a yes, let me know so we can book and have a time to actually coach you on your specific leadership situation. Thank you again, Blessing. So today we're talking about prioritization, and I asked the question, when I say priorities, what comes up for you? And if you can type it in the chat, I will quickly check the chat to see if something has come up, if there's an answer, a comment. I'm seeing nothing in the chat yet. And if you're watching this as a recorded session, feel free to still type your comment, your questions, or your remark. As you know, guys, I like to come and read and watch. All this series is like to help activate whatever superpower is in you. So even if it's weeks after, I check and I want to ensure you get the answers you need. A quick quote that came up as I was preparing this was, great leaders focus on what truly matters. So and yeah, it's important, because as a leader, be it that you want to move from one position to the next, or you want to produce, or you want to develop, there's something, a clear outcome for you to move from, say, position to permission. Invest in people, get to know them, get to connect, get to show them that they matter. So if that's the goal, if that is what matters, does your agenda also show that that is what matters? What I see a lot in coaching sessions, people will say, I want this, I want that, but their agenda is saying something else. So this quote is actually from the very good book of John Maxwell. Great leaders, they focus on what matters. So they invest time on those key things that matter. Is that your case? If you look at your agenda, if you just think at what you have for today or for this week, is the way you use your time showing what are your real priorities? Are your priorities aligned with the way you're using your time? And as we're talking about that, I want to raise another aspect. Like leaders, great leaders, they are proactive. They are proactive. So they are intentionally thinking about what they want to achieve. And then because they plan it, they make space with their intention, planning, and action, they get the results. There are other leaders who are more reactive, meaning they respond to events, to uncertainty, to things that happen. And the difference, if you see proactive, where do I want to go? Intention, visualization. You can create something that doesn't exist. The reactive, you're not leading, you're following an event, you're following a situation. Do you want to be a leader or a follower? The leader sets the pace. Like they see an opportunity. It's a new year. This year with my team, we want to do this. That's proactive, intentional. They set the pace. So they proactively plan what needs to happen for that thing to be realized. Those who are not proactive, well, they just wait and maybe go with the day-to-day operations and they just respond to things. And I like to see, because I see that a lot in coaching sessions. Judith, I want to grow my leadership, blah, 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 blah. But okay, what is happening? Well, the day by day, like you're just responding, you're going by the day, you're not being intentional, you're not creating something new, you're not visualizing, you're not creating new opportunity, you're not leading. As a leader in an organization, in your community, in a group, you observe, what do I want to make happen? That vision. You have a vision, you get intentional and make plans for that vision to be achieved. The reactive leader, he responds to the vision of someone else. He follows the leaders. And did you notice I used the verb follow? Can you be a leader if you follow? Maybe following another leader. A great leader sees opportunity and they say, yes, I want to go, I want to leverage, I want to create, I want to change. What type of leader are you? A proactive leader who is intentional, plans and gets ahead and creates something new, improves something, becomes more effective, optimizes, or a leader who just reacts to things as they happen. We want you to be in the team of proactive leaders who see opportunity, catch them and take the lead, set the pace. They are trailblazer and they create things that didn't exist before. So in order to do that, those proactive leaders, they use their time intentionally. They don't just wait for things. No. They reflect on the things they want to make happen. As a consequence, in the way they use their time, you can also see that proactivity. And that's why, because this is so key in growing your leadership, you need to get intentional. Whether you want to grow up the leadership levels or just be an effective leader wherever you are today, it's important, essential for you to use your time, your resources, your money for those things that happen. I like to say a lot of people, professional leaders, a lot of people stay in the wishful land. Judith, I want this year. Yeah, I'm developing my team. This year, okay. So what's the plan? What's happening when? Are you having one-on-ones with these people you want to develop? If we look at the agenda, there's no space. But if there's no time on your agenda to do those things, how do you move from those desires, those dreams you have for you and your team to actually make that happen? There must be space on your agenda for it. So that's why today we are seeing 3 strategies to actually become better at prioritizing activities, at ensuring that as a leader at your level, you work on what matters. The 3 strategies I'm suggesting are: number 1, the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, like, if you're watching and maybe you have been in sales, I have no doubt that you know the Pareto principle, but maybe not. And this is not something used just for sales. But what's the Pareto principle? The Pareto principle says that we focus on 20% of what we do, of our action impact 80% of our results. So to give a concrete example, this is the beginning of the year. If you are in sales, maybe to make some things easier, let's say your goal is to sell for $1 billion this year. In general, the strategy that you'll be given as a salesperson is to identify 20% of the client, the prospect, the territories that can generate the 80%. You cannot run after, I don't know, if you have a long list of 100 prospects, you cannot run after the 100, create slides for 100, make time to meet them, to discuss, to understand, to connect, to tweak the presentation. If you want to run after the 100, you get tired, you burn out. But identifying, okay, the key ones, and the data from last year can help you. If it's a new account, some research on what are the key, what are the big ones. And this is where you learn to work smart, not harder. It is essential, guys, to be able to identify really the 20% of activities that will help you to achieve your goal. And again, I took the example of sales because it's easier, but even in the tech world where most of my clients are from, as a developer, as an engineer, it's essential for you to identify the key 20 activities that will allow you to deliver on your responsibility. Your responsibility, if you develop apps, what are the key apps? What are the key things you need to deliver for you to get job well done? Sometimes you may have a lot of projects. What are the key projects that will allow you to deliver on what your manager and your team wants to see? What are the key stakeholders? What are the key partners you need to work with? Because sometimes we have a lot. I like to say, no matter the area, the aspect, or where you live, we all have 24 hours. And for you to really deliver the work that as a leader in your position you need to deliver, it's essential that you know your 20%. It's really essential. How do you do that, Judith? Reflect on your task. Ask your manager. I like to say, incorporate, like, do as much as is possible to get along well with your manager. Why? Your manager is the person evaluating your work. So he's the one who will say, okay, this is the key result, this is the deliverable we want to see. And sometimes I'll hear people say, well, my manager is not very supportive. That can happen. And this is where there's so much power in having mentors. If you're watching this and you're working in a corporate world, please reflect, think, and reach out in the next couple days. Find yourself a mentor. A mentor can make a difference for your career. What's a mentor? A mentor is someone who has been in the path you're taking. If you're a supervisor, do you know any supervisor you admire who does a good job? The team seems happy and they deliver. Get in touch with them. Hey, seems like you're a wonderful supervisor. Can you teach me that? And you can have even many mentors. Why having mentors helps? It's because in situation they've been through what you are today, and they can give recommendations. So even if there's some kind of grayish or the manager is not very supportive, as you say, can they give recommendations on, they can give recommendation on, as a supervisor, okay, be good at organizing the work. How do you check on your team? This is what I did when I started. These are some tools. Their experience will help you. Their experience will help you. So bringing it back to the Pareto principle, If you're not clear on the 20% key activities for your role, ask your manager, ask HR. Depending on the type and size of organization you're working in a lot of organizations, you have what they call competency map or job role description, which are the key things expected of someone in your position. Know that. Know that to know the core of what is expected of you. And when you identify that core, ensure your agenda also says that's the core. If the core thing you have to do as a senior engineer, I don't know, is to coach other people to develop architecture. If we look at your agenda, shall we see that there's space for that coaching, mentoring others? If it's not, then your priorities are not aligned with the core thing expected of you. So Pareto principle is strategy number 1, and it is so good when you know the 20%. It can help you stay focused. It can help you stay. So even when there's time, when there's too much, when there's unplanned, when there's extra things coming, you know the core 20 and you can focus, you can drill down, you can filter on all the things being thrown at you, which ones contributes to your 20. Putting your energy on your 20 will allow you to achieve the 80%. That's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 that I suggest is what I call the 3R framework. 3R for requirements, returns, and then reward. What are the requirements? What is required for a leader in your position? It's so essential to know that. So many people, I see that in coaching sessions, okay, I have this job, and then people go to work and they just do what they're asked to do. Have you noticed that what they're asked? So they're following, they are reactive, they respond, they are not leading. There's some intentionality, there's some proactivity, you're responsible and you decide what you make happen with opportunity to create something new. But if you don't really know what is required in your role, then we are in trouble. What would you stand on to ask your boss? I need a promo. I think I delivered well. Based on what? But knowing clearly that the requirement of this role, of this position from my team is ABC, you can tell a wonderful story of how you deliver on ABC. You know ABC. ABC has been validated with your leadership. Another thing, if your manager is not supportive, have you tried connecting with your N+2, your skip? It is important to know this thing, and not only to know, to have what I call a handshake, to validate with your manager. And I'm so glad we're having these conversations about prioritization at the beginning of the year. Maybe you're in a company like right now, we are almost week 3 in January, and you've not had a conversation on what are the priorities for this year. It's fine. You can show your proactivity by asking your leadership, what are we creating this year? And when you ask this kind of question, be ready to make some suggestion that will show that you are a leader. You're not waiting to be told. From what I saw last year, from what our team does, from the environment, blah, 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 I'm thinking, wow, this is someone, he's not just waiting, he's thinking, he's proactive. It will show well on you. So, know what is required of your position. If you're not clear, ask. Who can tell you? Who can help you get clear on what is required of a leader at your level? Your manager, your skip, mentors, HR, people who've been in that role before. These are a couple people you can ask to. 3R. So when you're clear on what is required for your position, ensure there's space on your agenda for that. Prioritize time for that on your agenda. To me, it's like, it's even the fundamentals. At the end of the month, what do you stand on to say, I had a good month? What do you stand on at the 6-month point where it's mid-year review to say, oh, I think I'm tracking toward exceptional performance? What? You need to measure against something, the standard or the requirement for the role. So know the requirement for your role and your team if you're leading a team of people. The third this requirement, and then what I call here returns. Returns are like something is not required of your role. I think return, the transition wasn't good. It was supposed to be risk. There are some things that are not required of your position, but they could present a risk situation. For example, well, I'm an app developer, but I'm not into security. But if your app is not well secured, it can break. If the security aspects are not well taken care of, it may cause trouble on what you will put in production. So if there's an activity, a demand, something regarding security, make space if it constitutes a risk. I took the example of the app, sorry. It could also be like maybe you're not getting along with another cross-functional peer, someone from another team, but you may need their approval, you may need their portion is required for your app to function well. So it's not your responsibility, but it represents a risk. Anything that could jeopardize your work, make space on your agenda for that. And then the third thing, reward. There might be demands of you or some activities you are assigned. They are not part of your core. They are not part of your job requirements, but they may bring a lot of rewards. For example, let's imagine the SVP or the CTO of your organization knowing that in previous life, previous work experience, you know something that has nothing to do with your current job, and they ask you to do it. Will you say no because, oh, it's not required of my job? No. This gives you visibility, opportunity to show up for the CTO. I can deliver. There will be some projects, some stretch things. They are not required. So even if you don't deliver them, you'll not be penalized for your specific role. But saying yes brings some rewards, can give you exposure, can give you visibility, can show that you are kind of a cross-functional, can demonstrate some of your abilities. So these things, requirements, is there any risk in this? Can this activity represent a risk? Requirement, risk, and reward. And then the last strategy I propose to use to help really prioritize whatever you have in your to-do list is the Eisenhower matrix: important, urgent. Maybe you already know it, but essentially this strategy is about organizing your work in terms of their urgency and their importance. And it has been great to have a bottle of water. Sorry. So the ideal recommendation is to spend a lot of time in the activities that are important, maybe not urgent. When you are operating, you're living in the urgent quadrant, you're reactive, like just spend time being a firefighter. You just firefight the fire. So you're reactive. And when you're reactive, you're not bringing the best creativity. You're not doing your best work. You're just fighting to get the fire off. And that's not like your best work is not demonstrated in the reactive. And you've noticed I said reactive. So it's not the intentional, the proactive, the innovative, making something new that didn't exist. You're responding to an urgency. A lot of professionals live in the land of urgency. The recommendation is to be intentional and spend as much time as possible in the important but not urgent. It's, for example, this year We have to deliver. We are creating this new AI thing, integration. This year with my team, we want to expand. We want to build some kind of internal mentoring. We want to create a program for apprenticeship. You want to do something that doesn't exist. So intentionally, you make time on your agenda to plan, organize, sell the vision. Like this, it is proactive, it is planned, and there's greater chance to do it in the best way possible. And have you noticed I said you create something new? You're making a vision happen. So the Eisenhower matrix really helps you to categorize your task. There are some things that when you use that tool, you will discover that they have nothing to do on your to-do list. Things that are not important, or they are not urgent, not important, they don't contribute. Well, people used to come and ask you for documentation, people used to, but they are not kind of required in your job role, and they're not having an impact. And what are they doing on your to-do list? One key thing I like to tell people in general when I'm working with is use your time to work on tasks that you alone can move forward. Use your time to work on those key things. The illustration I like to take, let's imagine you are an expert surgeon. You are specialized in opening hearts and healing the hearts of your patient. And for that, you're paying a lot of good money, say $1,000 per hour. I'm exaggerating. So you see the level of expertise that you have. Now imagine if you are that very exceptional expert, but people are waiting in the long line in the hospital you're working because you're taking your time to consult people who have headache, to give them Advil. Do you think this is the best usage of their time? No, there are other people who could help. So identify in your role and your position for your team what are the key things that only you can move forward. Because when you do this menial, small, day-to-day tasks that are not at your level, you're not making time for those things that are actually at your level. Yeah, people some, oh well, yeah, but Judy, but those tasks are important. They're important, but what makes it that you are the person to take care of that? Why? Um, because I said, for example, if you are a middle level manager, you have some strategy to build, say for your team, for your department, for your vice presidency, and submit to the senior SVP or to C-suite. Instead of sitting down, planning your strategy, testing it, getting the feedback, you're there micromanaging your team. That's not the best usage of your time, and you're not playing at the right leadership level. So, what are the tasks that you alone, you are the best person to move forward? These are the things that deserve to be prioritized on your agenda. These are the things that should be prioritized on your agenda. So I just gave like 3 strategies. There are more, and I'm curious. I will quickly go and check on the chat. If you said something or asked a question, I'm curious, are there other strategies that you're using? Are there some things that are working for you? There might be, I'm sure there might be other strategies that I've not mentioned here. Hey, come on share with us so that we can learn your strategy. We can also grow our toolbox and be more effective leaders, knowing how to prioritize and use our time. So this is for the strategies. And before moving forward, I feel like asking you, what are the ones that you are already using? What, in terms of prioritization strategy, what are you using now? If you're watching this, the recording, please let us know in the chat what you think. So as you can guess, we are entering in the reflection portion of our life. These are the key strategies. What does that mean to you? What does that bring up for you? What does that bring up for you? And as you're doing the reflection, what is essential, it's really essential if you're watching this live, to get to know the top three, the top priorities for your role. Else you could be very busy, but maybe not busy on the right things. You need to know the right things to work on. You heard me say a couple times, priorities for your level. You need to know for the level I'm in. Maybe in another series or in another video, we'll do something around the leadership levels. But if you are leading for first time people manager, if you're supervisor, if you are manager of manager, if you're a director, if you're VP, these are various levels of leadership and the expectations are different. So for the level you are in, do you know what is expected of you? Know that, ask the question, get clear on that. Because clarity on what is expected of you would help you, better manage and use your time, will help you manage the multiple requests that you keep receiving from all sides, will help you negotiate, will help you focus your team. You don't want to be this leader who just tires, who burns their team out because you keep asking things. No. As a people manager in organization, you're responsible for protecting your people so that they can do their best work. And in order for you to do that, you need to get clear on the priorities of you and your team. What are the key things you have to deliver? So this is like an essential question. It would be great that before we meet next time, you know the top priorities for you in your leadership role. Now I can hear you say, "Oh, Judith, I told you I'm not in corporate. I'm leading this team, this choir, this church." It's the same thing. What are the priorities in your leadership role? You're leading a Sunday school. Excellent. What are the priorities of the Sunday school group? Sunday school teachers. What are the priorities of this non-for-profit organization? So it has nothing to do with corporate, but more as a team, like we're coming together to do what? Get clear on what you want to do, on the outcome, because that will help define the priorities. Imagine, I told last week the story of these people in the village who come together. A leader steps up to say, okay, we don't have water. While waiting, we can build for ourselves a well to fetch water. So if that's the goal, to create a well, are you ensuring that the meetings, the discussions, the talk, all the exchanges focus on building that well? If that's the goal, but you have meetings and you start talking about problems between various homes, talking about the fact that people are not following, months are passing, nothing is happening in terms of wealth building, I'm sorry, but we might have a problem here. Because as a team, as a group, you come together to achieve one vision. Clear on the vision and the outcome is essential. You keep you focused. When you know clearly that's the focus, these distractors or people who come and, "Oh, I was wondering, the neighboring village has ABC. Okay, we hear you for now. Can we focus about this thing regarding the well, and maybe we can create another platform, another time to discuss what is happening with the neighboring village." Get clear on the top three things expected of you and your team in your leadership role. Another reflection to do is, how much time are you spending on non-essential activities, or non-core or non-requirement activities? This question is important, and it makes me talk about something I really encourage people to do. Do an inventory of your time. When I'm in consulting mode, I want to improve my personal effectiveness. That would be the thing number one to do. I'll give you an Excel sheet where you will capture how you're using your time now. Where are your 24 hours going? This exercise always blows me away on how much insight it gives when you capture without editing, because sometimes people will say, oh Judy, I couldn't complete, I had to change. No change. First, it's like if we brought a camera to just shoot what you're doing in a week, what will come up? How are you using your time? And people who actually take the time to do that inventory with the Excel sheet, the more I'm talking about it, I'm taking a note to put that below in the live. That was not the special thing I wanted to share, but I think there might be value sharing that, because when you capture that, there's a lot of insight. Personally, when I did it for the first time, whoa, Judy was planning things like 200 more hours. A week has only 160 hours. But I was planning things that would take me more than 200. It's not realistic. It's not. So doing that exercise will make you see, oh, you stretch yourself too much, or you say yes to more things than you have time. Can you, I don't know, accept wine for more than a liter when you just have a 1 liter jug? No way. No way. Just as when you travel, depending on like the ticket you have, if you have just 10 kilograms, well, when you reach 10 kilograms, you have to stop adding things. And even if wife or kids say, oh mom, I really need this, you will have the discussion around what you remove to stay in the 10. It's the same thing with the 24 hours. Doing that inventory will make you see, oh, I overload my agenda. I say yes, I'm overbooked. I have too much on my plate. And then you can adjust, you can switch things around. So you will have insights on how you're using your time. The next question will be, those things filling my agenda, are they the top priorities for my leadership level and my team? This is a very good question that will help with the alignment. I see this more than 75% of the time in my coaching sessions with people who want to improve their personal effectiveness. Oh yeah, this year I'm put on this additional project. I have high visibility, blah, blah, blah. But I want to grow and develop my people. This year is the year of empowerment. Now that I've been promoted to senior manager, the core of my work will be to develop the managers below me. Excellent. Wow, I love your energy. So how much time are you devoting to that? Like, how are you doing that? Oh, well, I give feedback in meetings. Really? How can you say the goal this year is to develop leaders and you don't have, say, one-on-ones? How would you do that development if there's no time on your agenda investing in those people? Do you think like answering one question when talking about a task, or saying something in that weekly team meeting is enough to really know where this direct report is, how they're feeling, their challenges, to help troubleshoot the difficulties they might have? And I see that. So like this year, Judith, I want to be a more strategic leader. How much time are you devoting to strategy? None. On the day-to-day operation, doing this. So how would you grow as a strategic leader? So this time inventory exercise will help you capture, where is my time going? 1.2, do the things filling my agenda align with my priorities as a leader? That's where the work lies, because you will see that there are some things to remove. The Eisenhower matrix will help. So you can use the Excel I'll put below the video to gather all the tasks. From that Excel, put them on the Eisenhower matrix that I will share in like 5 minutes. Put them in the various categories: important, urgent, and you see, depending on the quadrant they are in, to drop, to delegate, to prioritize. So it's a good exercise to do. As you do that, you will align what you put on your agenda. You will align your priorities with what matters for the leadership level you are in, which is what we want. There's no way for you to operate as a fully effective leader if you just keep reacting to things. So this is the reflection I offer this week. I'll repeat the 3 things. Get to know the top priorities in your leadership role. Ask your manager, ask the skip, ask HR, ask anyone who may know, or anyone who have done that role before you, they may know. Number 2, when you do this time inventory exercise, where is your non-essential time going? You can be shocked to discover that, oh my God, I'm giving 4 hours Netflix per day. Judith is not saying Netflix is bad. If you're close to me, you know, like movie is one of the way for me to relax. I'm not saying Netflix is bad or scrolling on social media. Like, you're free to have the posture that is yours. But do you want, as a leader, to spend 4 hours browsing social media? If your answer is yes, I wonder how much time you're actually devoting to grow your leadership. So identifying those things that could be time waster is good, because you have some space where you can add your intentional leadership activities. So please, when you get the Excel, or just you can even ask Google, or if you're using an AI machine, a time inventory tool. But I will definitely post one below the video. So after you've done the reflection, now it's time to think about action. From what you've heard so far, from what is coming up, what is coming up for you? Are there some things that you are already doing well? If yes, if you have the habit of organizing your activities into important, urgent, in what ways can you improve what you already have as strategies for prioritization? From what you heard, is there something new? Did you discover the Pareto thing? If yes, what action do you want to take? I insist on do you want to take. I can advise, recommend a lot of things, but research shows that the things that you want to do are those that have the greater chance to be done to give us the results we need. So from what you've heard, from what you've seen, are there some concrete things that you want to try? If yes, would you like to share it in the chat so that we can cheer you up, so that next week before coming, one will come and check how are you, how is it going, how did you do with your task analysis, how did you manage to organize your to-do list? So we would like to share so we can cheer you up. But definitely reflect from the 3 strategies that have been shared, which one you want to try. Personally, I tend to be more an person, not either or. So instead of going which one do you, how are you gonna try the 3? That's why I'm suggesting, identify, do the Pareto on your activity. Create a stop start doing list. What is the stop start doing? It's after you've done that inventory of your activities, or the Eisenhower matrix, there are clearly things that you shouldn't have time for. These are things to stop. Maybe to delegate, or to assign someone else to give it to the rightful person that should be in charge. These are the things that you should stop taking on, having on your workload. Stop doing that. If you're watching this, you are kind of middle level or strategy, stop doing the operation day-to-day tactical. Stop. find someone else, reassign, delegate, do whatever. But if you are middle to senior level, you have nothing to do in the tactical day to day. No. I can hear your voice saying, yeah, but Judy, those I assigned them to, they're not doing it well. So work with them, coach them, but don't do the task. You are operating at the wrong level, which is not good. It's not good for you. While you're giving time for those tasks that are not yours, you're stealing time for the tasks that are actually yours. Because, hey guys, every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. It was a painful way for me to learn it because I like to work, and I like computers, and I used to work a lot of long hours, and I have the tendency to say, yeah, you can count on me. Yes, I want to help. Yes. Until the day I have two kids, and the two were like, we don't want to be engineer. Why? Mom, you spend so much time in front of your computer. We don't want that. And the smaller one was like, Mom, it's like sometimes I feel you like your computer than us. This one got me crying. As a mother, to hear your child say that, like, I love a machine more than her. It is when we had this talk that I stopped, that I choose to get intentional and spend the weekend with my kids. I still do a lot of library, but maybe when I'm not with them. Because she was like, Mom, even on this, you're not working, you're here in front of the computer. Can't we go and do something together? You're always in front of that thing. It was painful. Then I clearly understood why they say, because I continue to say yes for extra thing at work, for stretch project, for new things in church or wherever. Those years, I will use evenings or weekends to do that. And as I'm using evenings and weekends, I'm not being with my family. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? So, especially for my people who are yes man, yes woman, watch out. Before next you say yes. As you're saying yes, what are you saying no to? You always say no to something when you say yes to something. So these are my recommendations, suggestions. I'm curious to hear what you try and what happens. The ideal, the goal here is for you to improve, adjust your agenda so that you really work on high impact activity for your leadership goal. Remember, in week 1 we talked about your intention. What will happen for you to feel in 12 weeks you've grown your leadership? Let's take a simple example. Hey, I think I'm at level 1 position. I'm a leader just because I have the title. People don't follow me. People, like, they're sort of stubborn. If not for my title, they will not do what I ask them to do. And your leadership goal for the next 10 weeks, I want to move from that position to permission. Okay. So what in your agenda, what activities, what time would you devote to connect, build relationship, nurture relationship, for people to see, perceive, oh, this person cares. And because they care, I will do what they say. I will follow them. That's how you turn the intentionality into action. How much time in your agenda you want to devote to building, nurturing, and taking care of relationship. If you're, say, at permission level and you want to get to the production level, what will you add? What time are you reserving intentionally, proactively planning on your agenda to keep an eye that what your team has to deliver is delivered? To just even stop and check how much progress, what else, who do I need to talk to ensure our deliverable suffers nothing? A lot of leaders don't do that. Day to day, what is this? Reactive, day to day. But when do you actually stop? Okay, we have to deliver 10 widgets or 12 this year. And this is a Q1. So by March, we should have delivered 4. And in month 1, January is ending soon. We are nowhere near delivering 1. The time that you reserve on your agenda to stop, observe the progress, make the call if there's obstacle to unblock your direct report. That's proactive, intentional time. It's built in your weekly schedule to ensure that you and your team, you deliver. And it's because you and your team deliver that you are at that production level. Your people are motivated and you deliver great outcome for the organization. So if it is there that you want to reach, because maybe last year you got great feedback, your team and people are so happy working with you, but you didn't deliver on your assignment, you didn't deliver on time. What is happening? You need to get intentional to follow up on activity and people, everything, processes that will be needed for you to deliver on time. This is important, guys. This is important. So after you've done the reflection, and Judith almost went without giving the link for the PDF. Oh wow, I just noticed it's already time to go. So I'm quickly typing that in the chat. I'm giving you 2 models of the matrices. Hopefully you can download and use. I love Smartsheets, offers a lot of great tools. I'm not affiliated with Smartsheet, and actually I try. So you're not obliged to pay. What I gave you, you can access it without paying. But I just use the opportunity to see there are some good stuff that they offer. So feel free to download and use. The second one is from a university. So and you can fill it directly without printing. Use it, and after you've done the inventory of your task, just put them in categories: important, urgent. Put them in those quadrants and just observe what you have in the important quadrant as much as possible. What can you do to stay there, because this is where you set intentional, proactively plan to deliver on the leadership level you want to be. It's time to go, Judith. You're over time. Before going, I'll quickly announce what's coming up next week. We will continue and we'll be talking about team dynamics. We said last week that if you are a leader and there's no one following you, yeah, maybe you're just leading you. As a leader, you have a vision. There's something you see, there's something you want to create, there's an assignment that you've given, a vision you carry, and you mobilize, you engage, you inspire people to follow you. So next we will be talking about those teams. And to be that effective leader, you motivate people to get something done, to carry out a vision. How do you connect with people so that they want to be part of your team? How do you keep the team together, like I like to say, like a wonderful mayonnaise that you've made from home? How do you keep the team as one, cohesive? Yes, that was the word I was looking for. Next week we'll be talking about team dynamics, how you connect people, how you create cohesive and you keep the cohesiveness, how you help your team to get mature. It's all about team dynamics next week. So if you have questions regarding team dynamics, you can put them below the video so that beforehand I will know what you would like me to stress more on. And if you have a specific question, if you're having troubles with your team, if you can join live, it will be great. But if you cannot, just put your question. We'll ensure it is taken care of. I want to be respectful of your time, so I will close here. One last repetition, the 3 things to focus on this week. Please the strategy, Pareto, 3R, requirement, risk, rewards. These are the things to prioritize. And then strategy number 3, Eisenhower matrix. You were giving the worksheet, download and use them. Create, after you've done your inventory, create the start, stop doing list and remove everything not important, not urgent, has nothing to do in your to-do list. If there are tasks that direct reports, mentee or other people can take, give it to them, so that the core of your time is used for activities and tasks that only you can move forward. And when you identify those key things for the leadership level you are, align, plan your week to ensure what is on your agenda really shows those priorities. Judith Go. It'll be with a lot of joy and pleasure that I'll meet you next week, same time, 10 for people in French, and then same time like today for you speaking English. Let me know what you think. Let me know which portion you enjoyed. Let me know the portions you think I should tweak. The fire in my heart is to create content that will really help bring out that leader, motivate you, put you on fire to get out there and be the leader you can be. Our society, your community, your town, church, school, organization need that leader. And I think you have everything. Now, let me know what I could do to help you show up as that leader. It's the desire of my heart. 2025 is that year where the leader in you will be revealed to make an impact where they are. It was a pleasure and looking forward to connecting with you next week, same time. Bye.